What's up, Hoop fans? Welcome to 1716, the most entertaining hour of basketball banter you'll hear each week. The NBA is back!
Let's go,
Woo!
Let's go!
For our first show of the NBA season, I am your host, David, a Boston Celtics fan, wearing Boston Celtics. Joining us, also wearing his team colors, is Lamar, the Houston Rockets fan.
Stop. Lakers all day. Stop it with the disrespect. Repping Texas Tech, because that's the college I went to. So
I went to Texas Tech as well.
Start it.
Anyway, also joining us, wearing his new team colors, Philadelphia 76ers fan, Jeremy.
And I went to the real Tech, La Tech.
Oh,
Louisiana
stop
Tech.
it.
Oh, that's how we're starting
That's
this?
how we started.
No, you just didn't say that.
All right,
Come on,
well, on today's show, since we didn't get to have a show last week and there's only, breaking the fourth wall a little bit, there's only been one night of basketball, we're going to make our predictions. We're going to make our season award predictions. We're also going to make our NBA Finals predictions, as well as explaining why. It has been asked many times why I think the Boston Celtics are going to win the championship. Stay tuned till the third quarter to find out. And then we're also going to be talking about our favorite storylines for the year to come. Let's jump straight in.
Let's go.
What do you think? First up, the first quarter. What do we call it? The first quarter.
First take. First quarter take.
First quarter takes. Not first take.
quarter takes.
No,
Sorry,
first
first quarter takes. Sorry,
It's not the first take. Hey,
first quarter takes. First quarter takes.
Editor, cut that part. Cut that part.
First quarter takes. Sorry, first quarter takes. My bad.
First up. Jimmy Butler. Okay, there's been some recent news about Jimmy Butler. At practice this past Sunday, Jimmy Butler met with the owner, and they came to a conclusion that they would. Jimmy Butler will suit up for the Minnesota Timberwolves while they try and find a trade for him. Meaning he's going to play.
Yeah, I don't mean they came up with the conclusion, and I mean these teams that are interested in Jimmy Butler have to make sure they're really interested in Jimmy Butler.
Obviously, yeah.
Just the way he, because if he comes up and doesn't play as well as they think, then it may not be worth giving up the assets.
I also think that all of the teams that are offering stuff for him can continue to lowball because,
of course,
Minnesota has to trade him.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to have to stop saying no.
Yeah.
Eventually, Tibbs is going to have to be stripped of his GM powers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Ooh.
Thank
Anyways,
you.
yes.
Thank you. How does he have
You remember a few shows ago when I was on his side? Mm-hmm. Well, look, I've heard Butler talk, and obviously it's just talk, but I am off of Tibbs' side now.
See, I tried to tell you.
Jimmy Butler needs to get traded.
Jimmy was telling the truth about Cat. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
telling the truth.
Yep.
And Jimmy Butler asked to be traded. Do you know when he asked to be traded? 5 days after their season ended. In May? June?
Yeah.
May?
May.
It must have been May because it was the
May,
playoffs.
yeah.
He asked that far behind, and they still haven't traded him?
Yep.
Tibbs has got to go.
Yep.
He's got to
He ain't
go.
gonna make it through the season.
No, he won't.
It's just
not gonna make
he
it
would not
season.
make it. Yeah,
it's just
I agree.
embarrassing. And then
Yeah,
all
it's
of
not a
these
good
teams, like I just said, all of them they're just going to keep lowballing them.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm saying.
I was just saying, there's not going to be a win situation for Minnesota.
Right. They have no leverage.
There is a win situation out there for Miami, for the Clippers, for whoever gets Jimmy Butler. It is a win situation because Minnesota cannot win this.
Right.
They need to get him off of there. Tibbs can stay the coach, okay? Because they were doing. No. He can't.
No, he cannot. Nope.
At minimum, let me say it this way: at minimum, he needs to lose his GM powers. He has proven that he cannot handle that.
Gotcha.
At worst, he can keep his coaching.
Yeah.
Okay, because Karl Anthony Towns needs to be the comeback player of the year, which would upset me a bit, but that's a whole different story.
You think he's gonna? I'm gonna come back to that.
Do you get the joke?
Okay, no, I thought you were getting for real. At first, when I heard it, I was like,
he played last year, but he should still be the comeback player.
At first, when I heard it, I was
this
like,
because he was. Here's the thing, though. He puts up ridiculous stat lines every game, but he doesn't want to win. So in crunch time, he's just
passing the ball or shooting threes.
Right. Oh my. He doesn't play defense
because he don't want it. He does not want it.
Because Jimmy Butler was quoted as saying, "Who is the best player on the team?" Karl Anthony Towns. Who is the most God-gifted, talented person on the team? Andrew Wiggins. Who plays the hardest? Me. Mm-hmm. And that's like, that sums it up right there.
That sums it up. But it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yep.
Also news this week, Jamal Crawford, one of the best six men of all time,
Boogie on you.
has
Man, he's
finally been signed by the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
That's veteran coming in
It's
there.
It's a good look for him. Man.
Mentoring Booker, mentoring Ayton, which we're going to talk about in a minute. That's a good pickup for him.
Crawford, what is he, like 42, 43 years
No
old?
matter, man. He
doesn't
looks
age, man.
he's in
goofy.
shape. He's slim. Like he's fine.
He can still
still
boogie
boogie.
on you and drop 30 off the bench.
The best thing is he was chill this whole time.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'll get signed. He's like, I'm not worried about it. He was probably thinking I would love to, build some relationship with my teammates through the preseason, but I will get signed eventually.
The Suns don't need it because they're gonna play one-on-one ball a lot.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely
That's their
will.
style of ball.
They definitely will.
Yep.
Is Devin Booker going to win the scoring title this year?
He might win the scoring title.
He just might.
Next to LeBron James, he has the greenest light, I think, in the NBA.
What about your other favorite player?
Oh,
Your other favorite player? No, there's no need to say another name. You know who I'm talking about.
I really don't have. What do you?
You know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the name. How long do you want this to go on the show?
I'm not.
You just want to say the name?
I'm not kidding.
People are clicking away right now.
I don't know who you're talking about right
You
now, man.
actually know who your favorite player. LeBron is not your favorite player. Here's your second favorite player.
What you talking about? I swear to you.
Do you want to help him out?
I don't know who you're talking about.
I
Is
don't
it
know what
Harden?
you're talking about.
The green light to score on his own team now?
Oh, you're talking about Anthony Davis?
Yes, I'm talking about Anthony Davis.
But at least there's some more mouths to
click
feed.
back on the video.
Come back. I'm just saying, but I'm saying at least Anthony Davis has some mouths to feed. Who on the Suns? Who on the Suns is he gonna feed?
That's true.
Nobody.
Yeah.
He's got the greenest light.
I was like, wait, who's? I was like, Harden? I don't know. I didn't know.
Anthony Davis has it where, because he knows, in the middle, nobody. The rest of them are just perimeter players. We're just waiting for the ball.
What if Anthony Davis? I feel like Anthony Davis could potentially average like 36 points a game.
That's why I said he's going to win MVP. I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, second quarter. All right, this is a big one, okay? Yeah. This is a pretty big topic. At first, I thought this was a non-story. And then I listened to more about it, and I thought more about it. Last night, as we're going to talk about the opening night matchups.
Mm-hmm.
First up, let's just go ahead and talk about the second one, just because I started on this. The Warriors received their rings.
Yes.
In the ring ceremony, there was an odd order that they were announced in. Kevin Durant was announced last. This is not Kevin Durant's team. This is Steph Curry's team. But I feel like, to my argument a couple weeks ago, I think Steph Curry might be the best leader in the NBA because he wasn't upset by this. He just, or at least didn't show that he was upset by Durant being announced last. What are your thoughts on Durant being announced last in the award ceremony?
They didn't make a big deal of it. I mean, when they said it, they clearly said Finals MVP. So that's how I took it. I was like, okay.
Did Iguodala get announced last a few years ago? I should have checked that. I should have checked that.
Because if that's the case, then that's what it was. But I don't think it was any funny business as far as him manipulating the.
I don't think it's wrong to say though that KD is a better overall player than Steph Curry.
No, that's
before
that's wrong. So if he got introduced last, what's the big deal?
Before KD came over to the Thunder, wasn't the argument like if Steph Curry or the Warriors wasn't the argument like weren't people starting to ask if Steph Curry was the best player in the NBA?
He was definitely in the conversation. He still is in the conversation.
But because KD has come over, he's taken that it's either him or LeBron, and now people consider Curry much lower than that.
Well, when KD was in Oklahoma City, he was considered as one of the best.
I get that, but the last couple years, like in 2015, when Steph started winning when Steph won the championship, everyone was saying, "Well, is Steph now the best player in the NBA?"
Here's the other thing to think about, though, and it's a little bit of KD too. But Steph's been really injured with his ankles, where he's missed some games. So KD was there on the court, and they were like, "All right, we need you, man." Like he had some good time where he was the man. And then Steve Kerr, even, there's some sound bites with him talking about Michael and being like, hey, man, when Michael was there, I'm just saying so they're lifting him up.
But the performance that followed by Steph Curry, I think Steph Curry is going to go for the MVP this year.
Really?
I do. I think he's going to try and average 30 points a game.
With his bad ankles?
Sure.
Okay.
I think he's going to try and average 30 points a game. I think he's going to prove that he's the best player on his team which will then lead to a split up at the end of the year.
Oh my lord. That's what he wants to happen.
That's
See what he's
It is what I want to happen, but it's also what I
Lord.
think is going to happen.
Okay.
Because
All
I think KD's ego and
What?
oh stop. Please don't tell me that you don't think KD has an ego that
But that has nothing to do with. He likes being on the Warriors.
he likes winning.
Who doesn't like winning?
He doesn't
you
like all
winning. I like winning.
He doesn't like all the KD's getting.
I'm good.
He's I don't know. I think this is the last year of their go. I really do think that Steph's going to try and
There was something in the news about Clay, though.
Yes.
Yeah, there was something in the news
there
about
was
money
about Clay.
talks. They were saying, like, hey, Clay may not take a discount this time. And
The
I'm like,
Lakers, the Lakers gonna show him that money.
By the end of this year, okay,
They gonna show him that dough.
you know who I think is going to win the championship, and we'll talk about it in the third quarter. But if everything goes as most people expect, and the Warriors win their 4th championship in 5 years, and Clay has 4 championships, just go take the money. You did the thing with the winning stuff, and you might even win with the Lakers. So why not take that gamble? I'm still on board the train of, hey, take a team to Seattle and take KD and Clay up to Seattle.
I know, but there's a lot of.
Yeah,
There's a lot of.
stuff.
I get
Yeah.
that, but man, that would just be so
That would be
freaking cool.
I agree.
So you had another thing about the Warriors, since we're talking about this matchup from yesterday. You wanted to talk about Russ and KD.
I want to talk Russ and KD. Here's why. There was something last night. Because I was hanging out with Anna, my fiance, last night, and then all of a sudden they were talking about KD. I guess last night, got called out by Russ on the bench because Russ was on the bench and he was like, "Hey, Adams, go post up KD," and KD was like, "Even Adams on me? Like, you must have forgot who I am." And they they had that moment where they looked at each other and KD was like stop. He just stopped. He just grabbed the ball and he was like, "What's up, bro?" Like walked over and was like, "Come on, man." And Russ, he's just like he's down for a fight whenever.
Right.
And I'm like, really? Is this still a thing? Is Russ still salty? Is he not over this? He's still salty.
I mean, Russ is just that dude. He's just super competitive and.
But you think Steven Adams gonna be able to post up Kevin Durant?
Size-wise, yes. But
I don't
KD's
think-
quicker.
Right.
Yeah,
who,
KD's
who can
quicker.
get off the floor? Who can get
Well,
the
that's
floor
true.
first? Bow.
I agree.
In the stands.
I agree. But I'm talking.
Steven Adams is not a guy that you go, "I'm gonna throw the ball into him."
Right.
Post. He gonna deliver us 2 points. That is not gonna happen. He's not that guy.
I agree. I agree with that.
That's I didn't know that moment happened.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened at the beginning.
Yeah.
Was it the
So
beginning
Russ,
of the game?
Russ, shame on him.
The only thing I saw
Shame.
from Russ last night was him sitting on the bench eating something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see
the
that
gun.
You see-
But just shame on him. Like, come on, man, get over it. He left. He left you.
right.
It's over.
Huh. Interesting. So then the other opening night matchup that happened was the Celtics and the 76ers.
Yep.
And the Celtics stomped them. I mean, Tatum went out there and was boogieing, dancing on all of them. Jaylen Brown was throwing it down over Embiid.
Stop it.
Oh,
That's
stop
a lie.
it.
You slide to everybody.
Yeah,
You slide.
he-
Gordon
did not throw it
Hayward
down.
had a couple back-to-back shots that went in.
He looked rough, man.
Okay,
Him
he's
and
been out of
Kyrie
basketball.
looked rough.
Cool. Both of them are coming back from injuries, and we won the game by 20.
I'm gonna come back to. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you have the floor. Go ahead.
Well,
I'm gonna let you have the floor.
so yes, Hayward looked rough. He broke his leg a year ago and was, understandably looked rough. Kyrie, I don't know what was up with Kyrie. Kyrie had a struggle game. Luckily, he noticed that and started dishing it, started getting assists, and then the 3 from last year, Rozier, Brown, and
Finished the
Tatum
game.
came in. And,
Finish the
he
game.
did. He did. He came in and finished the game. Rozier came in and finished the
So
game.
you tell me Kyrie gonna be chill with that all year?
You
That if he's having a bad shooting night, or that
Yeah.
Rozier is just gonna be chill about sitting on the bench? You think it's gonna be fine?
I do. I think
you're lying.
No, I really do.
Rozier, he's starting to get that dog in him. Like he's
That's
like,
fine.
hey, I need to be on the court.
I think for this year, I think as long as what happened last night happens, and I think Kyrie understands it. Like, hey, you're having a rough night. Let's let Rozier. If Rozier's having a good night,
But okay, wait. But Kyrie wants to be that man on the team, right?
absolutely.
Okay, so that man, he wasn't that man in Cleveland. Wasn't that man? When after
He's
after.
that
so
man now.
Well, hang on.
He's that man
Wait,
now.
here's where I say that Tatum's starting to rise, right? I admit it. My bad. I still want to give him time before I anoint him as the best Celtics player, but he is starting to rise. Kyrie started to get upset that he's not the best player.
This is Kyrie's
That's what Kyrie
team.
wants to be the man.
This is Kyrie's team. It is Kyrie's team.
No, it is not.
Do you know why it's Kyrie's team? Because he's the one with the championship experience.
So
it doesn't need to be a 20-year-old's team right now.
It's a new year. If Kyrie left, they would still be the favorites in the East, and they would still be the best team that could compete against the Warriors.
But with Kyrie, we're gonna beat the Warriors.
Wow.
I'm telling you, okay. Last night, Kyrie had a bad game.
Yeah.
So Rozier finished it, and I think that Brad Stevens can manage those egos and say, "Hey, you're coming back from an injury. This is the first game of the season."
Yeah.
And I don't think it will be like that in the next game.
I think between him. I think Gordon will be cool. I think Gordon Hayward might be an issue.
It's mental. He's mental. It's a
Yeah,
mental
it's
thing.
mental.
Yeah.
So,
And he'll be
curious.
fine. And he'll be fine.
So for me,
Here's the thing. And sorry,
No,
I'll let you go and say. Hayward said after the game that he will get it, and as long as his teammates make the shots and win the games, he's okay with that. So he will take his time. We know that for sure. I think
Salad Cat might not agree though.
So for me, I'm gonna take a different perspective. So first of all, it was really good seeing Gordon Hayward out there, regardless of the stat line he put out. It was, man, that commercial that came on, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's fire.
Philly looked offensively. They had times where it's like, okay,
yeah. Whenever
people,
Ben Simmons drove to the hoop.
Exactly. So Ben Simmons, first of all, Ben Simmons needs to develop a jump shot, a mid-range jumper.
There were a couple shots that he took yesterday with his right hand. Did you notice that?
I did.
He's a lefty.
Yeah.
And
scary.
A lot of
ambidextrous.
No.
Scary.
No. He missed them badly.
Well, yeah.
No. Like when he shot them with his right hand, he missed them badly. The 76ers fans were like,
it's the first game.
It's the first game.
Calm down.
But
his 76ers fans were saying, does he not know which hand he's shooting with? Does he not know what he's supposed to do?
It was bad.
Sorry, go.
Watching him shoot free throws, it was just
free throws was rough.
So my biggest thing is, I've been on the record saying, pray for Kawhi. It was one of his preferred destinations. Markelle Fultz was untouchable. He only shot 2 for 7 last night. Robert Covington, who was also a package in the deal, got crossed by Tatum and fell.
And he didn't have a good shooting night.
Shot 3 for 10. And then the other guy, Dario Saric, was in foul trouble. And they all shot a combined 8 for 25. And the Philly looked like a high school team defensively.
Oh my gosh, it was awful.
It was bad to watch because like when Tatum drove and you see Simmons and Embiid just look at each other like, I thought you had it.
Right. That was the exact look that Ben Simmons gave.
And Tatum was just like, oh. And I'm like, okay, that's it. It was bad.
No, I'm telling you, the only person I saw wanted to play defense on the Sixers was Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Every now and then Ben Simmons was like, okay, let me try and get in the pass lane. But I'm telling you, the only guy was like, Embiid was like, let's go. I'm at the rim, like, nobody else can play. I'm not going to get embarrassed.
Right.
Ain't gonna be me.
He did get pretty embarrassed. He was embarrassed.
By who?
By Jaylen Brown.
Stop it.
He was embarrassed by Jaylen Brown.
He didn't get embarrassed.
He stared him down.
Look! He didn't no staring down. He didn't dunk him, the man.
Did the ball go in?
Yeah, when it hit the backboard, and then bounced in.
Yeah, and I bet
that counts as a dunk, right? Because he didn't grab the rim.
I bet as Jaylen was up in Embiid's face, he probably went off the board.
Stop it! So the two hands that Embiid had on it, that had no.
No, that was fantastic, but Jaylen Brown calculated that and threw it in a way.
Stop! I'm over it. Okay, stop.
But anyway,
last point on this.
Go ahead.
Okay, here's my thing, y'all, and I brought this up to Jeremy about this. Sixers coach Brown, he sat there the whole second half. He didn't call any timeouts. There wasn't any plan. They weren't running anything complicated. They're just simple pick and roll stuff that there was no communication on. And I'm going, what have y'all been doing in practice? Have y'all been talking about defense at all? Nope. What are you in charge of? What are you doing? Because all I see right now is Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid giving people the business. And then the rest of the time, there has to be 3 other players that does something on the court.
They don't have shooters.
Markelle Fultz has to attract 2 people in order for somebody to get open, and he can't. There were a lot of times they were like, "Go ahead, man! You go ahead, put it up."
Let's see that new jump shot. Yeah,
it was ugly. It was gross. It was bad.
So just another game where Brad Stevens coaches circles around Brett Brown.
But here's the thing, though. Brad Stevens didn't even have to do much.
He didn't do anything.
They were running the same stuff over and over, and he was just like, do it again. You know?
Hey, just set a pick at the top,
Yeah.
and then let's
Do it
just
again.
get out the way.
Do it again. And Tatum was just wearing him out.
Dude, I was like,
Whether it was a switch or whether it was wearing him out.
I'm not saying Kawhi Leonard would have solved all their problems, but
Something.
yeah, he would have at least.
Right.
I'm gonna get a hand on you.
Right, do something. Get in his face.
it was-
Get
oh,
in his
man.
face. Do something.
All right. Last note. Last year, the opening night was Celtics Cavs and Warriors Rockets.
Right.
Fast forward to the conference finals, and it was the same matchup. It was the exact same 4 teams playing each other.
Stop it.
This year, we saw Celtics Sixers and we saw Warriors Thunder. That'd be the same thing in.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope.
And I know it's one game, but I can't see. I don't know about Philly, man.
They're gonna have to get because the way they played last night, the Pacers can beat them.
Right.
The way they
In a
played last
7-game
night in a
series?
7-game series,
Yeah.
the Pacers can beat them.
Yes.
There you go. All right. Well, that's our first quarter. That's all the recent news that we had this week. We're going to move on. And like I said, we're going to make some predictions about our season awards.
Yes,
go,
sir.
man.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
So we're just going to, we've got
bro.
6 awards on here that I can think of. Let's go ahead. Let's kick it off with the big one, the MVP.